Hello friends! So, in this week's Plan With Me, I wanted to show all of you how I would plan my study schedule for the week. I will be linking the pens that I am using down in the description bar, so make sure you look for that. So, I always start planning my study schedule in a separate journal like you see here. This is just because I want to make sure I have everything written down that I need so there are no mistakes in my actual planner. So in this journal, I just write down my different classes and decide on which color pen will represent which class. I find that using a color key works best for creating a study schedule. It just makes me feel more organized, but that's totally up to you. So in the second part, I will write down my tentative schedule for the week, deciding on what time I'm going to be waking up, what time school is, just so I know where I will have time to study. Moving on to my actual planner now, I will always try and study in the morning for class while I'm eating breakfast. This is usually just for an hour, sometimes less. Deciding on what classes I will study in the morning is probably the most difficult task because it really just depends on what works best for you and what type of learner you are. The class that I study in the morning are usually the classes that I will have later that day. I will usually alternate this class each morning depending on if there's a test or a quiz in one of the classes or depending on what I studied the morning before. I didn't write this in my planner, but since I have a lot of small breaks throughout the day while I'm at school, I will usually sit down and reread the notes or get a head start on any of my homework. But once I'm home from class, I always try and get my homework done first, take a break, and then we'll come back and study another subject before dinner. This subject is usually one of the classes that I had that day, and I'm just wanting to go over the material that we learned or create some flashcards. I think it is important to know that studying does not mean just sitting down and staring at your notes that you took in class. I used to do this, but it does not work. I found that hands-on studying works best for me, like creating flashcards. I actually have a video about how I create flashcards and how I incorporate studying into that process, so I will link that video down below for all of you. So I always then set aside some time to prepare for my classes that I will have the next day. I also will underline any quizzes or tests that I have with the certain color for that class. It's also important to note that I always put the color key in the square boxes on the side of each day just for a reference. So as I move on through the week planning which class I want to study, I start forming a pattern and just alternating the order every few days. So I have some tips for all of you that I want to give. First one is to look at this study schedule as First one is to look at your study schedule as a rough draft. So the second one can kind of fit into the first one. Be flexible and don't beat yourself up if you miss a certain time slot for studying. Creating a schedule like this is a lot of trial and error, and you really have to figure out what works best for you. So do not feel discouraged if one way does not work for you. Just be willing to look at different techniques and try them all out. And then the third little trick that I have is you have to treat school like a job. That might seem crazy to some, but you will see a big difference in your work if you put away all distractions and focus on just school and studying. I think we're all guilty of procrastinating and being lazy, but I always remind myself what I want in life to get myself motivated again. There were many weeks where I didn't turn the TV on once because I knew that if I did, I wouldn't get any work done. So I knew that by making these sacrifices in the present, I would have a better future. And then the last thing that I did was I wanted to make my planner fun because I have a blue and green theme going on this week. So I just added some washi tape that I bought at Target in their dollar section. And it just made for a fun little design in my planner. It makes me happy. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you were able to take something I said and use it for your study schedule. Do not be discouraged. If something doesn't work for you, just keep trying. But good luck, and I'll see you all in my next video.